The research process is done. It's now time to start writing your persuasive essay. A persuasive essay is a big fancy word for saying a formal opinion piece. It's writing formally to convince other people of your opinion. It's important to note that because it's a formal writing piece, there are no personal pronouns allowed. That means you're not allowed to use I. If you want additional information, I've made a ton of items available in the Edmodo folder called Persuasive Writing Public Speaking. In this folder, you'll find a PowerPoint, a detailed PowerPoint. You'll also find great hook ideas and conclusion ideas in case you're struggling with how to start or finish your persuasive writing. You'll also find the excellent link to the MLA document, which will help you with your parenthetical references and your works cited page. These are excellent resources that you should consider checking out. Remember, the purpose of a persuasive essay is to convince the reader that your point of view or course of action is valid, is right. So to do this, you have to choose a topic that's debatable, that has more than one side. It's important that you present your 3 strongest and most convincing arguments, which are your body paragraphs, to support your point of view, to support your thesis statement. It's important that everything goes back to your thesis statement, which means that your 3 arguments are trying to support or prove your thesis statement. So you always want to come back to this point. This is why your thesis statement is so important in your introduction. Remember, your thesis statement is a complete sentence that gives your opinion on a specific topic. It should be short and clear, usually not longer than 1-2 sentences max, and it tells the reader what the purpose of your text will be. What are you trying to prove during this essay? Your thesis statement is not just present in your introduction. Signs of your thesis should be present throughout your entire essay. Your thesis statement is your opinion on the topic. Then you use body 1 to say why you have this opinion. What's your justification for this opinion? What's your rationale? So body 1, you should always tie it back to your thesis. So then you have your opinion. You want to give your opinion, your reasons why for body 2, which is your second body paragraph, your second strongest argument. In that body paragraph, again, you should make reference. Don't always repeat yourself, but you should make reference to that thesis statement once again. And then finally, you have this opinion on this topic, and your reason, your rationale, or your argument for that becomes your body 3. Again, body 3, you want to tie it back to that original statement. Be sure not to keep repeating yourself. Vary the way you present it. Vary the words, the transition words that you use. The persuasive essay is made up of 5 different paragraphs. I want to take a few moments and go through these paragraphs. The first being the introduction. Your introduction is made up of 4 points or 4 parts. The first being your hook and your background information. This is where you grab your reader's attention and you get them familiar with your topic. Remember, not everybody has an understanding or a passion about your topic, so you want to let them know what you're talking about. You want to get them comfortable or familiar. This should usually be 1 to 2 sentences, so that way the reader knows what you're talking about. The next piece is your thesis statement, which is the reason you're writing this essay. Your thesis statement is your opinion on your topic, and the rest of your essay is meant to prove this opinion. You prove this opinion with your 3 arguments, your 3 body paragraphs, which you must introduce in your introduction. So you want to make reference in order to your 3 arguments, which will be your 3 body paragraphs. After the introduction, you have your body paragraphs. Every body paragraph follows the same structure. I like to think of this structure a little bit like a cheeseburger. Every cheeseburger, every good cheeseburger, has 4 components. You have the top of the bun, you have the meat, you have the extra toppings, and then you have the bottom of the bun. Well, a body paragraph is essentially the same thing. Every body paragraph follows this structure. The top of your bun is actually your topic statement. This is where you're introducing the topic of that body paragraph, always tied back to your thesis statement. Then for your meat, that's your explanation in your own words, the topic. Explain your topic sentence or define any ideas that you're hoping to cover in that body paragraph. Your extra toppings, like your cheese and your lettuce and your tomato, well, that's your evidence, either direct or indirect. This is where you give examples or you give a quote or you give some statistics to explain or to support what you were saying up here. And finally, you need to wrap your ideas up. You need the bottom portion of the cheeseburger. You need a conclusion. You need to link or end with a link back to your topic, back to what you were talking about up here, and ultimately back to your thesis statement. A good body paragraph is typically 7 to 10 sentences plus extra sentences if you're using a direct quote. This structure is repeated for body 1, for body 2, and for body 3. The final piece of the persuasive essay is the conclusion. Here's where you have a chance to wrap everything up. It's important never to present new information in your conclusion. It's just a chance to restate or to summarize some of your key ideas. The first thing you need to do on the conclusion is wrap it up. Let us know it's the conclusion. In conclusion is a great transition word. Then you want to restate your thesis statement. Remind the reader what this whole essay was about. Then you represent your 3 arguments to leave them something to think about. The final part is to leave your reader with a thought-provoking note. Give them that knockout punch. Remind them that you're right and everything that you said in this essay was important and supports your opinion. If you follow these steps for your introduction, your body paragraphs, and your conclusion, you should have a strong persuasive essay. The last component of your persuasive writing project is your works cited page. This page is a separate document found at the end of your essay. All the information on how to properly write this page can be found in the Edmodal folder. There's a link called MLA Referencing Document. It will take you to a website that tells you all the different ways possible to reference any kind of material that you used, whether it's a book, an article, a website, a picture, a movie. So be sure to check out that link. I've also placed a poster at the back of my class that should help you out. Come see me if you have any questions. Before turning in your work, you might want to double check this checklist. Make sure that you have the different elements. So, do you have an opening statement that gives your opinion on the topic? Have you presented arguments tied back to your thesis statement in each one of your body paragraphs? Are your arguments in order of importance? So your strongest argument, your second strongest, your third strongest. Do you have evidence, either direct or indirect? Have you referenced it in your text? Have you referenced it properly? Do you have a conclusion that wraps up your essay and ends on a thought-provoking note? Have you double-checked your spelling, your language conventions, your editing, your grammar? Have you really respected the task? Have you read the rubric? Double check all of these elements before you turn in your good copy. I know I've presented a lot of information today, so if ever you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask them on Edmodo. Just remember to check back to see if I've answered your question. You could also message me privately and we can maybe set up a time either before or after school to go over some of these points. In the Edmodo folder, there's a ton of great information. There's a detailed PowerPoint, there's the link for MLA referencing, there's how to use quotations properly, There's also some great ideas for hooks and conclusions. So make sure you check out some of these resources as you write this essay. Good luck!